Hello and welcome back to Princess Evangile. A strong wind blew, and I grimaced as warm droplets of rain threw themselves into my eyes. "Please, don't speak that way, Wanasama," Mitsuki-san cried out. "One single mistake doesn't invalidate everything. Please, stop! You can still make it right. Isn't that right, Rai-san?" "That's right. I believe that you have still forgotten one thing, Marika-sama." "What could that be?" "That your grandmother is still human. Just as you have done some righteous things and made some mistakes up until now, your grandmother is exactly the same way. So please stop acting like you need to decide everything right now, Marika-sama. Please." "That is true." Her voice was so gentle. The tension that had tightened in my chest began to loosen in relief. "I feel that I was blind. Now I see. Thank you, Rise, and Mitsuki. I am most grateful to you for always being by my side." I haven't done anything. That's why I apologized to you before." "What are you talking about?" At last, Marika-san turned back to us. Her expression was bright and cheerful. "You don't know how often you've helped me, both as student council president and as leader of the Red Rose Society." And just then there was a powerful gust of wind. And it was only then that we remembered we were at a great height in an unfenced area. We had no way of standing against that wind. In addition, Marika-san was just near the edge. "Wanasama! Marika-sama!" Her beautiful hair spread out like a fan, and it almost seemed to drag her back, causing her entire body to lift, right over the edge. I felt like I could still make it. She was close. Even if Marika-san had lost her balance, she wouldn't fall immediately, so I could still make it. So I thought. "Ah!" I slipped on the wet floor, and for a moment my entire body seethed and went cold. I struggled upright with all my might and began staggering forward. But even my greatest efforts were in vain, and I swam through the air. "Wah!" I stretched out my right arm as far as I could, but by then Marika-san was already falling. "Ah! Ah!" I'd managed to grab onto her, just barely, but the crisis wasn't over yet. "Can't stop!" Thanks to the momentum of her fall on the wet floor, my body was continuing to slide, and I slid out to my hips, and then the distant ground below came into view. "Oh, I'm gonna fall!" I closed my eyes tightly. There was nothing to grab onto, no way to get back to my feet. And yet... Despite half of my body leaning over the edge, I stopped. "Ah! Ah! The girls had grabbed onto my legs. "Do you think you could pull me back up?" I managed to wring out the words, but it sounded like they were at their limits already. There's no possible way. It's taking everything I have just to hold you in place." What could we do? There was no way anyone was going to find us here in the clock tower on a rainy night. And calling out wouldn't work either. Our voices wouldn't travel 10 meters in this heavy rain. What do we do? What do we do? Think, damn it. "Isaya-kun, please let me go. If they only have to lift you, I'm certain that you can manage, so..." "Not a chance!" Like you said before, you've still got a lot of learning to do about righteousness, right? I don't want to die, but you don't want to die either, right? Isn't that right, Marika-san? Isn't that right, Marika-san? I want to hear what you have to say, Marika-san. Who cares what God or your grandmother or anyone else says? What's important is what you have to say. Isn't that right? I raised my voice, giving her hand a squeeze. "Hanging on like that? Not good. That's very weak grip, relatively speaking, to hold an entire human being by. The odds of you holding it are quite slim. If you manage to get the wrist lock, they'd have a much better chance of hanging on to each other." Trying to communicate my wish with her, that she would understand me. "Listen to me, Marika-san. Please. Don't let go. Don't let go of me. Right. That's all I need to power me through. Despite the situation we were in, we exchanged a smile. Hey, can you get that phone working? Right, I'll try. But I don't know if I can... My body moved forward 5 centimetres and then stopped, and I almost had a heart attack. It's not possible. I can't hold on with just one hand. I don't think I can do it either. Even with both hands, I'm practically at my limit. You need a phone? Very well then, I will try. Marika-san had one hand free. All we could do was pray that she didn't drop it. Just then, Marika-san received an incoming call. It caused her hand to tremble. Aha! What I had feared became reality. The cell phone, our lifeline, dropped. And stopped in midair. That was close. The strap had caught on her pinky finger. I'll need to cut them off first. It's me. I was wondering how things were going with Okinogi Masaya. Do you believe you can drive him out? That voice. Was that her grandmother? What's wrong, Marika? Marika-san looked up into my eyes, uncertain. Of course, we both knew we had to get help as soon as possible. In order to do that, we'd have to hang up on immediately. Call someone else. Or you could just yell, "We're hanging from the clock tower, for the love of God, send help," down the phone. Right now, this call was important. Marika's relationship with her grandmother. Priorities, people! Yell, "For the love of God, help us," and then move on. With that thought in mind, I met Marika-san's eyes and nodded. I really think you should tell her. Right. Marika, I hear the sound of rain. Are you outside? And that voice just now. You aren't with a boy, are you? Grandmother. Marika, answer me. What on earth are you doing? There's something that I need to tell you, Grandmother. What? Didn't you hear me? I told you to answer me. From now on, I'm going to do what I believe is righteous. And I've decided that driving Masaya-kun out using underhand means is not righteous at all. That's why I'm going to ignore your directive, Grandmother. Wait a moment, Marika. What exactly are you... I'm rather occupied at the moment, so I'm hanging up now. Goodbye. Wait a minute. Beep. The call cut off. This time, Marika-san manipulated the button skillfully and called the school for help. And so, we were saved. Just in the nick of time. Okay, how? Okay. A lecture was waiting for us afterwards, but Marika-san's presence there meant we weren't interrogated too closely. This is quite an unbelievable story. If it were the usual suspects, I could understand it, but to see Mitsuki and, what's more, the student council president Marika, what on earth is going on? Forgive me. We're sorry. As the two girls bowed, the headmistress looked down at them with a troubled expression. The two of you aren't going to apologise? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The two of us bowed hastily. Rai-san couldn't hide her dissatisfaction, and the headmistress let out a sigh. Well, don't worry. Knowing that Marika was there with you indicates that it was far more than just some lark. You are dismissed, and please take baths immediately. That's right. We'd summoned to the headmistress' office, still soaking wet. Not even the presence of Marika-san and Mitsuki-san had softened her enough to change her first. Okinogi Masaya-kun, you are to warm yourself up and rest so that you do not catch cold. Right. I couldn't believe that the headmistress was being nice to me. I blinked a few times and then nodded in some confusion. Maybe she really is a nice person? I feel kind of bad for getting the wrong idea about her. After all, you are effectively unaffiliated with the school. I cannot be expected to take responsibility for your fate. And there went that theory. Effectively? I don't understand what you mean, Madam Headmistress. Rai-san snapped out the words quickly. What's not to understand? Tomorrow he will be leaving this school, so effectively he is unaffiliated with us. I wonder about that. Huh? Do the two of you feel so uncertain about that? Well, it isn't certain at all. Yes. Please go now, you really will catch cold. Yes, Mom. Excuse me. Excuse me. Clack. That was very strange. I hope they haven't gotten fevers already. Sorry about that. Got a little distracted by something just popping up. The rain passed quickly, and by the time we got back to the dorm, the moon was bright in the night sky. Everyone, she turned to us in the entryway and bowed low to us. I really must apologise for all of this. For setting the trap, you mean? There is that as well, of course, but specifically I mean tonight. I even put your own lives at risk. I don't know how to apologise. You've got some thinking to do, I guess. Of course. Before Marika-san had fallen into depression, she had always had a confident smile on her face. Seeing her crowded like this was definitely strange. But hey, there's no point dwelling on the past. Let's just be glad it's over. Thank you for saying that. But those things you said to me, they did resonate in my heart. Those things? You did scold me, didn't you? She means when you screamed at her to say you were about to fall. I wasn't sure if it was time to say, personally. I think I just got excited. Pretty rude thing to say. I'd never been scolded like that before, even by my grandmother. Wow, really? Well then I really, my voice trailed off weakly as I saw Marika-san approach me. Her face was very close to mine and her cheeks were brightly flushed, maybe because of the rain. The words that you said to me will remain etched in my heart for as long as I live. I will not forget them. Right. Masaya-kun. What is it? She pressed her face in close to mine, and while I didn't necessarily mind the proximity, I pulled back reflexively. Marika-sama, don't you believe you're standing a bit too close? Oh, what on earth am I doing? Marika-san pulled away from me quickly, leaving only sweet fragrance behind. What in the world happened there? Well, I should be going. Masaya-san, you really will catch cold. Right, whoa. Excuse me, Mitsuki-san. Why are you holding Masaya-san's hand? Huh? Hey, get back here! I suppose it's none of my business. But I never will forget this feeling, for as long as I live. Apparently, not even Tammy had caught word of what happened that night. The atmosphere around school went unchanged. Which meant... It's finally time to say goodbye to Masaya-san. Yes, it is. It almost feels a bit sad, though. What are you talking about? He attacked Litsuta Saw. He's a true villain. Yes, that's true, but... And Rice-san is acting the same as ever. I thought she might be sad to see him go. Maybe she's sick of him too. Yes, you may be right. The whispering voices all cut off at once as Marika's voice came out over the speakers. Salutations. I am Marika, the Student Council President. I am borrowing the microphone because there is something that I need to tell you. The entire class fell into silence. It seemed to be the same everywhere. No sounds came from outside the classroom either. As you all know, there is to be a vote today concerning the fate of Okanogi Masaya-kun. There is something that I would like to tell you all prior to that vote. It's very important. I hope that you will all come to hear it. Please, come to the cathedral after class today. Please. Please. I will be waiting for you. Click. As the announcement ended, the voices came back in a rising hum. What could it be? Now that she's going to tell us all the awful things he did to her. There's no way. What could it be? Did you get a confession out of her? You'll just have to wait and see. Also, I'd like to say, but I can tell you're worried, so I'll tell you. The answer is oui. Ayaka-sama. Oh, I see. I'm so glad. And the announcement that Marika-sama mentioned this morning was... Rise nodded. But don't tell anyone else. I think the truth should come from her lips. And that's why she made the announcement. I see. The knocking continued and the door opened before I could answer. Okinogi Mise, come out of your room. Yes, ma'am. Ah, Marika-san. Salutations. There is still some time before the vote, however, Marika insisted. In other words, I was being allowed to leave my room on Marika-san's say-so. Let us begin. We walked down the hallway, with Marika-san at the head. Of course, the Jardin came with us. Marika, aren't you afraid? He is a criminal, after all. No, I'm not afraid at all. At Marika-san's unflinching response, the Jardin fell into silence. Where are we going? And well, I guess I'll find out soon enough. It appeared as though we were heading for the cathedral, and Marika-san turned to us just before the entrance. It appears that everyone has assembled. By everyone, you mean? Everyone, of course. Ah. She was right, and the enormous cathedral was full to bursting. It looked like the entire student body had come. And can you excuse me for one moment? I'm afraid my phone just started ringing. I'll be resuming this recording momentarily. Right, sorry about that little interruption, but you know, phones go off, these things happen. So, she was right. The enormous cathedral was full to bursting, and it looked like the entire student body had come. And as they became aware of my presence, they all turned their glares on me, one after another. Yet the anger turned to uncertainty as they noticed Marika-san with me, looking completely calm. Why are they together? The criminal and his victim. It is bizarre. Confusion rippled through the crowd, and we walked through it to the podium. Marika-san's silhouette as she walked was as dignified as it has ever been. I am grateful to you all for coming here with so little notice. Marika-san stood at the podium, with me standing beside her. I called you all here because there is something that you absolutely must know. It regards the attempted assault supposedly perpetrated by the man standing just beside me. And the suddenly silent cathedral burst into whispers. I will cut to the chase. The incident did not occur, and the commotion grew louder as the Filly de Venices had reached a fever pitch that I would never have imagined them capable of. Everyone, please, listen to the entire story. And the noise drowned out the sound of the mic. But as Marika-san repeated herself calmly, the commotion slowly died down. By that I mean, I fabricated the entire story. The incident was a lie from beginning to end, which means that Mise-kun has done nothing wrong. I have already apologized to Mise-kun, and of course I must apologize to you all as well. I offer my utmost apologies for lying to you. The audience seethed again, and the air grew cool and swallowed up by all other noises. And when the room grew silent again, this time a strange emotion hung over the crowd. It was like sweeping away sand to reveal gold dust, but what remained was far less desirable. Did he threaten her? Huh? Yes, that must be it. You don't think he decided not to end it attempted? That photograph of him did capture in that bestial state. So he threatened her? What a beast! Hey now! Things were definitely looking bad. Please! There are no ulterior motives here. I am telling you the full truth of the situation. Marika-san's voice had been decisive before, but now it wavered. I was feeling nervous too. What on earth were we going to do? I was wondering what this was all about. Did he really threaten you? What's this Rise's doing? Marika-sama. The voices came from all around. We know it's been hard for you. You don't have to lie. That's right. It's just like being bitten by a dog. Felt like we'd gone in a circle and come back to our starting point somehow. Or rather, we'd gone round in a spiral and ended up even lower than before. Mise-kun. Marika-san turned back to me with a troubled expression, and I shook my head. There's nothing I can do. If you can't convince them, then... Yes, that is true. I am the only one who can clear up the misunderstanding. And now I've got a bloody text message. Sorry, I better reply to this. This particular recording session keeps getting interrupted. Hang on one moment. Right, hopefully we can manage to get to the end of this part without getting interrupted too many more times. Everyone, please do not overestimate me. I am not at all a righteous woman. I am working to become one. My actions today are the first step towards that. Rika-san spoke up, trying to be heard over the din, but the audience reactions just weren't going the way we'd hoped. Marika-sama? Lie? I simply can't believe it. Comments like those were the only ones we heard. Masaya-kun, come here. Huh? She pulled me forward forcefully. Look at this man! And for some reason, it was those words that caused the cathedral to fall to silence. Pilate said something like that in the Gospel of John, but the crowd refused to see who he truly was. And naturally the sin is mine for lying in the first place, but let me say this. You are about to send an innocent man to the hill of Golgotha. There it is again. Why do people constantly wish to compare Okanogi Masaya to the Christ? Marika may simply be telling the truth. What? I mean that she is not simply parroting the words of others. It doesn't matter, it's the students who will decide. That is true. That is the tyranny of public opinion. Marika seems to have a misapprehension that as long as she tells the truth, people will believe her. But people's minds, particularly en masse, cannot be swayed back and forth so easily. Yes, that's true. And I am looking forward to seeing it in my own way, Madam Chairwoman. See how Marika deals with this. The vote is drawing closer minute by minute. I wonder if she can convince them in time. I've had enough. I can't bear to watch Marika-sama hurt herself anymore. Let us hold the vote already. Cries of hold the vote began to fill the cathedral. And I had learned a little about the Bible in my time here. Jesus had been tried before a crowd, and the crowd had pushed the judge to crucify him. Stop it, please! Stop it! It's all my fault. Why won't you understand? There was nothing I could say. I just put a hand on Marika-san's shoulder. Marika-san looked at me, then with a sudden expression of realization. That's right. I know what to do. Huh? Marika-san took action in an instant, and I had no way of reacting. Smooch! Gah! Ah! Huh? Ah! Oh my. She kissed me. On the cheek. Did you see that? Did that did it seem forced to you? Oh, I get it. I felt the hot flush in my cheeks and realised what a daring thing we'd just done. What, seriously? A kiss on the cheek is considered daring in this place? Bloody hell. But the reaction from the Philly Divinices was immediate, and the atmosphere changed at once. We heard whispers of, could it be, and maybe she's right. No way. Read in a shujo once that love can blossom from a salt. Hey now. But the statement seemed convincing enough to most of them. The pendulum swung right back to where it started from. And just then... What do you think you're doing? Though it was the voice of an old woman, it was sharp and clear. Grandmother. The petite woman was walking towards us. The students moved aside as if swept back by her calm forcefulness. What is Miyugi-sama doing here? It appears that Miyugi-sama is involved in this incident as well. What disgraceful behaviour! Marika, just what do you think you are doing? Answer me, Marika. Is this the man you were with last night? Before I answer you, there is a question I should like to ask you as well. What is it? Grandmother, why is it you wish to drive Masaya-kun from the school? I thought so. I have always lived my life, doing exactly as you told me, believing that you are absolutely righteous in all things. But this is the first time I have doubted you, so please tell me. What were you thinking, Grandmother? It was for your future, Marika. My future? I couldn't imagine what my expulsion could have had to do with Marika-san's future. Your mother passed away from illness, leaving the Miyugi family's board of directors slot vacant for a generation. You follow my logic, don't you? Yes. Because of that, the power balance of the board of directors has shifted slightly. It would leave you in a disadvantageous position from the start. On the other hand, I heard that this scholarship had a chairwoman's sponsorship. I'm not wrong about that, am I? Well, yes, that's true, but I don't know much about it. But I was aware. That is when I had my idea. What do you mean? Don't you see it? It was an excellent chance to strike out at the Rusian family. It didn't matter to me either way, Marika. If the Rusians spoke out in favour of reform, I would favour conservatism. If they favoured conservatism, I would favour reform. Nor because of Miyuki family's disadvantageous position, I had to do what I could, or else... Nonsense! What utter nonsense! When she said that she felt the same way I did, I was so hardened. I think all of that was just a power grab? The advance into age is a sorrowful thing. Those who were once pure and unselfish degrade into vulgarity. I can hear you. Pardon my rudeness. Oh, dear me, you always were a willful child. Well, have I answered you, Marika? Now it is your turn. I feel as though I have finally realised the truth. The truth of what? The humans are in the end human. They are not God. My underclassmen taught me that last night. But now I truly see that it is true. Grandmother, I will no longer look to you as if you were God. Do you wish... I am already disappointed in you. But please know this, Grandmother. No matter what happens, you are important to me. When you called me last night, I could tell. You are no longer the person you once were, Marika. Yes, and it has been from a single stone that was thrown into the pond of Venices. It has definitely changed me. I suppose that it is time that will tell us if the change is for good or for ill. Marika-san's grandmother turned and spoke as she walked out. However, you are my darling granddaughter, and so... I will pray that it is for good. Grandmother... With that one warm final word, she left. And once a petite form had vanished, the entire student body seemed to sigh with relief. I'm glad that all worked out. Yes, and I owe it all to you. I didn't do anything. It was your words that got through to your grandmother. It is now time for the vote. The students will proceed to the gymnasium. Do you hear me? Yes, Mom. I truly feel sorry for you, Marika. To be threatened in addition to all that has happened. That must be sarcasm. She knows what really happened. I glared at the headmistress, but her expression was steel and she didn't even flinch. I think that everyone in the school heard that exchange, which means my fallibility has been exposed to all. That should be enough to answer them. Everyone, the rally is over and the vote has begun. Please move to the gymnasium. Disperse! Well, that to me seems like an excellent point to end this part. So, I will say thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one, which hopefully won't get interrupted quite as many times.